And here we go. Ferrari and McLaren, two Formula One cars built for one purpose, namely winning. The goal is far from simple, considering that the 2025 Formula One Championship is very long and a lot of key parameters will influence the outcome. On one side, the Maranello team, tired of losing and eager to erase that cursed zero from the World Championship record for almost 2 decades. On the other, the Woking-based team, which is really enjoying itself, focused on defending the constructors' title and also aiming for the driver's crown. The British team undoubtedly starts as the favorite based on the data collected during the pre-season testing session in Bahrain and analyzed in the last few weeks. However, the Maranello squad has no intention of backing down. In today's analysis, we examine the aerodynamic configuration choices made by these two teams, which are expected to battle for triumphs this season as well, after the duel for last year's Constructors' Championship was decided only in the final round of the Formula One campaign, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, when the team led by Andrea Stella narrowly came out on top. Of course, although the rear wings of the single-seaters are only a part of the car, they help us understand the type of setup the teams have chosen based on the distinctive features of their projects for the 2025 Formula One racing campaign. Let's start by discussing the red car in comparison with McLaren's specification. In this case, we also distinguish the main plane from the additional flap of the wing. We immediately notice that the main profile of the SF-25 is significantly less pronounced than that of the MCL39. In the case of the prancing horse, the foil has a greater vertical bulk and, at the same time, a higher angle of incidence. On both specifications, however, there is a reduction in chord length in the central area, a detail that almost contradicts what we usually see. At the center of the specification, the tendency is to unload. In the midsection, the pressure is distributed this way due to the presence of the engine cover, an element that influences the fluid dynamics that will then interact with the wing. In this area of the car, the fluid mass moves with a different angle of incidence, and the profile is therefore shaped to adapt to its structure. The second element of the McLaren is also less loaded and generally aims to optimize efficiency. Through the overlapping in the peripheral zone, it is noticeable that the profile of the MCL39 single-seater reduces the chord, as aspect marked by the green circle. The two teams in question have chosen geometries that take very different approaches to adapting to the local fluid direction acting on the single-seaters. The incidence of the movable flap is also greater on the SF-25 car. These elements immediately provide some interesting insights to explore further. Ferrari opts for a wing with more downforce to generate grip on the rear axle, as it is likely forced to rely more on the vertical thrust produced by this specification. McLaren, on the other hand, if we look at its specification, suggests the presence of a significant surplus of downforce coming from the car's floor. For this reason, it can unload more of the car and dodge some of the drag, a move that can grant the car greater efficiency. In the design phase, after all, the Woking team focused precisely on this parameter, which was one of the weaknesses of the 2024 car. It should be noted that we expect excellent top speeds from the McLaren MCL39 single-seater. The Ferrari engineers and technicians, by contrast, seem intent on following the path it already took last year in the Australian Grand Prix. The initial rear wing solution, also used during Bahrain testing, will then be adopted at several circuits. By optimizing the versatility of the specification, the Italian team can choose this setup across multiple tracks with the same configuration, maximizing overall understanding of the car's performance. A decision that is not necessarily limiting on the track. We await further confirmation on this aspect. Meanwhile, we can also confirm a key aspect which we have also highlighted in our previous video. At the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne, Ferrari has opened the gills on the SF-25's engine cover, a measure designed to improve the cooling of the power unit. This solution made its debut during Bahrain testing, where the Maranello team experimented with an alternative engine cover configuration featuring additional cooling slots. It was already clear back then that Ferrari was preparing for the Melbourne race, and now we have confirmation. For the first weekend of the championship, the SF-25 has taken to the track with an open engine cover in anticipation of the high temperatures expected for the Grand Prix. Currently, 3 open slots are visible, indicating that the engineers are exercising maximum caution to safeguard the power unit's reliability. The Melbourne circuit will see significantly higher temperatures than those recorded in Bahrain, although the weather remains unpredictable. Reliability is now a crucial factor, and the opening of the air intakes allows for more effective heat dissipation, improving the thermal management of the power unit and cooling system. However, this solution results in a slight loss of aerodynamic efficiency, which Ferrari aims to compensate for with the rear wing specification already tested in Bahrain. Ferrari has already tested everything during the Bahrain preseason period and appears to have prepared for every possible scenario at the Australian circuit, the first key stop of the 2025 Formula One Championship. After the long winter break, F1 teams and drivers will therefore return to the track in Melbourne tomorrow for the first 2 free practice sessions. The true potential of the cars will only be revealed in qualifying, and even then, the verdict from Albert Park will not be definitive, as the Australian circuit has unique characteristics. Ahead of the Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc participated in media activities and shared his thoughts. Regarding the attention surrounding Lewis Hamilton, the Monegasque driver noted that he did not focus on external narratives, such as McLaren being the favorite or the spotlight being on Lewis Hamilton. Last year's Monaco and Monza winner emphasized that his primary responsibility was to translate everything happening within the team into technical feedback, identifying what worked and what did not. He also mentioned that the build-up to this race felt quieter for him compared to previous seasons, as Lewis Hamilton's presence in the same team naturally attracted attention. However, he viewed this as beneficial for the sport. Charles Leclerc reaffirmed his commitment to staying focused on himself, aiming for a strong start to the season. He expressed his readiness, motivation, and eagerness to get back in the car. Reflecting on Ferrari's 1-2 finish in 2024 at the Albert Park circuit, the Monegasque stated that an F1 driver must reset before every race weekend. He pointed out that a margin as small as 0.2 of a second could make a significant difference over a lap of 1 minute and 30 seconds or 1 minute and 40 seconds, potentially placing a driver ahead or behind. He believed McLaren had been faster in Bahrain, but was uncertain if the same would hold true in Melbourne, given the differences between the two circuits. Regardless, he reiterated that Ferrari's objective remained the World Championship, whether they started as the hunters or the hunted. While hoping to be at the front, he stressed the importance of staying calm and working hard, just as the team had done in 2024, when they staged a remarkable comeback in the second half of the season. He acknowledged that the team would gain clarity on their positions starting from the upcoming sessions. Discussing his relationship with his new teammate Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc mentioned that they had spent considerable time together and had gotten to know each other better, discussing their shared passions. The Monegasque looked forward to being on track alongside the 7-time Formula One world champion in the same car, which would allow them to analyze each other's strengths beginning the next day at the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne.